All right. The theme of Fintech South 2023, again, is reliability, innovation, and transparency. And our next speaker is going to share some very important and transformational messages about all three of those. So I'll provide a little bit of context to get us going. Almost a decade ago, an author named Michael Lewis, who you may know his name, he's famous for books like Moneyball and The Big Short. He was on a media tour for his new book, Flash Boys. And in an appearance on 60 Minutes, Lewis shared observations about something called high-frequency trading. He shared that a few stock market insiders were making billions in high-frequency trading and that insiders were raising the costs of stocks for ordinary investors. Wall Street, Lewis said, was rigged. Flash Boys was based in large part on the genesis and early days of IEX, the Investors Exchange. The book is a nonfiction investigation into the phenomenon of high-frequency trading, also HFT, if you don't know the acronyms, yes. Or is it an initialism? I think it's an initialism. Acronym actually sounds like a word. Initialism doesn't. We're learning on stage as we go, folks. Take that note. And in the U.S. financial market, it caused quite a stir that still resonates today, these HFTs. Rob Park was a central figure in the founding of IEX. That's an initialism. And in serving as the company's co-founder and chief technology officer, he continues to oversee the full spectrum of the company's technology functions, from development to user experience to quantitative strategy. Before co-founding IEX, he was the head of global algorithmic trading for RBC Capital Markets, where his team was instrumental in the creation of client-facing algorithms and smart order routing strategies. And prior to that, he co-founded Quantera Financial, a proprietary high-frequency trading firm that specialized in statistical and machine learning algorithms. For an insightful presentation on how an algorithm increased fairness, transparency, and performance on Wall Street, and the impact of AI on our future, please join me in welcoming to the Atlanta stage, Rob Park.
Thank you, Michael. I'm really excited, and it's an honor for me to be speaking here today. And so, we start off talking about the topic of AI. In the world of AI, let's imagine a conversation between two AI machines. And let's imagine they're having a conversation and one is asking, well, are you smarter than me? Can you help me write this piece of code? Can you show me how to replicate? And let's also imagine that this conversation is happening in some obscure part of the internet where humans may have no clue that it's even happening. As scary as this scenario may sound, when you listen to the leaders in the AI space, this all sounds but inevitable. It's not a if, but it's a when. And it's not really too hard to imagine this scenario. Right? So Google builds AlphaGo. And AlphaGo becomes the best Go player in the entire world by playing against itself in 40 days. In 40 days. And of all the AI machines that are going to be part of our very near future, it only takes 2 to start the cycle. And so questions come, will AI be our friends? How fast will they evolve? Will they create a language, maybe one that we can't understand? And I don't think anybody really knows the answers to these questions right now. So what we can do is look at, well, how did we get here in the first place? Can I see a raise of hands from the audience? Who has played the video game Civilization? Oh, wow, that's a lot more than I expected. Great. Oh, it's a fun game. It's a great game. And so in this game, you build an empire. In order to build this empire, you need technology. And there is a technology tree. And in this tree, it says that before you can build automobiles, you need to discover the combustion engine, you need to discover steel. And so technology builds on top of technology. And AI is exactly the same. There are three key ingredients to AI. First, data. And the internet has an enormous amount of human-generated data. Compute. And I'm talking exaflop compute. These are machines that cost billions of dollars to make. And a white paper, an idea. In 2017, there was a white paper called Attention is All You Need. It was written by a group of Google researchers and a University of Toronto professor. And it transformed all of AI before it. And it's a big deal because AI now sounds and talks like us. And in fact, Alan Turing, the inventor of the computer, he created this test to answer the question, can machines think? And in many, many ways, today's AI is absolutely crushing his test. So we may not fully understand where we are going, but I do believe that if we look into the world of stock trading, this is a world where I've spent my entire career. Stock trading may give us just a little bit of a glimpse into this new AI future. Why stock trading? Sounds kind of weird, right? Well, it's changed a lot in the last 20 years. This is what stock trading used to look like in the 1700s, in the 1800s, early 1900s, late 1900s. So you're seeing a very particular pattern here. A bunch of guys on a trading floor trading stocks. And in the shortest of the last 20 years, this is what stock trading looks like today. It is code running on servers in a data center. The theater of competition shifted for what used to be hundreds of years of humans on a trading floor is now machines in a data center. In today's stock market, almost $500 billion trades every single day. 80% of that workflow is fully automated by machines that have been trained on petabytes of data and can trade in microseconds. And so this kind of gives us possibly a glimpse into the future of AI. So this change started around the year 2000, and it was all about automation. Around then, I'm a recent university graduate from the University of Toronto. And my first job was to work on a trading floor of a large bank, RBC. At that time, I was just one of two coders. And I was stationed at a desk called portfolio trading, where a single trader was responsible for trading hundreds of stocks at the same time, which is kind of hard. It's kind of difficult for someone to do that. And so my job was to sit beside this trader and see if I can learn some patterns in which how they traded. And I did. And I was able to code those patterns. And so it allowed the trader to focus on the most important stocks and let the algorithm assist on the rest. And essentially created tools that scaled the trader up. And it worked. And it didn't just work, it started this perpetual cycle of trading algorithms producing enormous amounts of data, which we would analyze and then improve our algorithms, which would produce more data. And this cycle continues to this day. But back then, it didn't occur to us, because we were building tools to assist a human, it did not occur to us that our algorithms might actually be slow. Then around 2007, we start to see a brand new type of trader. And this trader was able to use extreme levels of speed to profit off of our slowish Gen 1 algos. And we were trading on behalf of our clients. Raise a hand of those who contribute to a 401k fund, a pension fund, or own mutual funds. It's literally everyone in this room. These are institutions that represent all of us, and these were some of our largest clients. We also started to see stock exchanges offer speed as a service. And so these Gen 2 algos were able to place their code in the proximity of an exchange's matching engine. And so they were able to receive new price information, react to it thousands of times before the rest of us even knew that the price of a stock even changed. Fast forward 2008, 2009, we are in the depths of the credit crisis. It literally felt like the world was falling apart. And Gen 2 algos were able to make millions every single day. And it wasn't just from us. We talked to other banks, it was happening to everyone. And so we felt compelled to figure out a solution, a market-based solution, in which if we could figure out a way to neutralize Gen 2's speed advantage, then we have a product, we have a business. And so we went off to go build our first Gen 3 algo, something that brought equilibrium, an equalizer to stock trading. Our problem back then was that when a trader wanted to buy stock, that order was actually split into multiple different pieces, sometimes as high as 10. And each one of those orders would be sent to a stock exchange somewhere in the state of New Jersey. Some of these buy orders would trade against a real seller, which is great. That's exactly the purpose of stock exchanges. But more often than not, our buy order would actually trade against someone which would use it as a signal and then go ahead and race our other orders that are still in flight to other exchanges. And if they win that race, then they profit by selling us that stock, but just at a little higher price. It's kind of like trying to buy tickets to a Taylor Swift concert. So once we discovered this, I remember I was walking to work one day, and I was just absolutely consumed by this idea. Well, what if the order that had to travel the furthest, what if we sent that first, just giving it a little bit of a head start? And the order that had to travel the least, we send last. And the goal would be that these orders try to, arrive kind of at the same time. And if we figure out a way to do that, then it would essentially make their signal useless. And so we went off and we measured our latencies and we coded our timing. And I remember pushing that button and the screens lit up, it worked. And it was an absolute game changer for our trading desk. A few years later, we went off to build our next Gen 3 algo. Oops. A group of us left the bank, and we started a stock exchange, IEX. And there, we built another algorithm. And this algorithm tries to predict if the price of a stock will change 2 milliseconds into the future. And in those moments, our matching engine would take action. It would protect client orders resting on our exchange. And if you were to take a look at publicly available data, IEX, we're an exchange, we trade over $10 billion of stock every day. And we are clearly one of the best price-performing stock exchanges in the United States. We are working really, really hard so that all of us can retire with just a little bit more money. If you want to hear more about our story, our journey, there's a book, as Michael talked about, Flash Boys, written by a great author, Michael Lewis. Encourage you to read it, and it kind of explains this all. And so in stock trading, we talked about 3 generations. Generation 1, bring automation to the workplace. Generation 2, exploiting the inefficiencies of Gen 1 algos. And Generation 3, bringing equilibrium back, bringing fairness back to the system. And so let's take a look at how some of this could apply to AI. Well, Gen 1 AI is already here. It's helping us summarize documents, translating documents. These are workflows that for 1,000 years has been very manual. It's now starting to be automated. And as that starts to enter into the workflows of our society, for example, let's say you need legal advice. That requires a lot of reading. Or how AI wrote this entire speech for me. No, I'm just joking. I wouldn't do that. But what AI does is it scales humans up. Just as that trader scaled up, AI will scale up doctors making new diagnoses. It'll scale up technicians making troubleshooting issues. It scales us up. And that is why adoption will accelerate. Now, as adoption accelerates, it's also collecting a lot of data about us. And I'm not talking about factual data. I'm talking about something that's a little bit different. This is data that's a little bit more personal. It's a little bit more intimate. It's like, is Rob having a good or bad day today? And so this data collected about us kind of sets up Gen 2 AI almost perfectly, right? You can imagine an AI machine that is built specifically for me, that knows what I like to buy, where I like to travel, what I like to eat. And it's going to put me in their funnel whether I like it or not, trying to cross-sell me products, trying to upsell me experiences. This is called narrowcasting. It is the next level of personalization. And it's the opposite of broadcasting. See, in broadcasting, you're trying to sell the same thing at the same price to a large group of people. Narrowcasting is you're trying to sell a specific thing at a specific price to a specific person. And there will be AI machines built for every single one of us. Congratulations. I'm sure we're all really excited about that. And if we think about who is best positioned to build Gen 2 AI, well, let's go back to the technology tree. It's going to be those that have the best proprietary data about how we spend our money. Think credit card companies. It's going to be companies that have access to large cloud computing budgets and access to the best AI algorithms. And just like trading, Gen 2 AI will absolutely master their craft of selling you things. Now, selling is one thing, but what if the intent of AI is slightly different? What if it's trying to influence your political views, influence your religious views? So it's clear that there needs to be an equalizer, something that makes AI work for all of us. Now, what are some of the things that we want to create equilibrium to? There's a lot of things. So one proposal that I'll present here today is how wealth is distributed in America. And if you overlay this chart with some of the significant technology developments like the personal computer, the internet, the smartphone. Now, I know this chart, there's more to this chart than just technology, but technology plays a role. And there is a clear trend a march to inequality, where at some point, some people may say that I don't believe the American dream is for me anymore. Now, I hope everyone in this room is doing their small part to make sure that that doesn't happen. At IEX, we're doing our part. We're using technology for good. We're bringing back trust to stock trading. And so my challenge to you is, and especially the new generation, that you have the opportunity to shape the future of AI. And with that, bring back trust to the future of America and the world. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.